Hi guys, so in this video we're going to be doing a little bit of a review on the Quartz Liquid Glass VHS Clear. So you've seen me use this lacquer a few times before, but I had this day's worth of footage and I thought I'd add this up into a bit of a dedicated review on the actual lacquer compared to the other HS lacquers that I've used then and since. So in this video what I'm going to do is, it's a bit of an odds and ends day. I've got a few parts in different colours for different jobs that are all going to get lacquered up at the same time. So I'm going to run you through, and we're going to run through with the Iwata W400 Bellairia in the 1.3, and I'm also going to include the settings for the GTI ProLite in a 1.3 using the T110 air cap as well for you. So I've got all the beef set up now. All the parts are all now set up, ready for lacquer. I've already mixed the lacquer up. It's a 2-to-1 clear to hardener ratio, and then I've just dropped in 5% thinners. Now I'm using this through my Iwata Bellairia. At the time of actually making this video, I didn't have my GTI ProLite. So this is the Iwata W400 Bellairia. It's a 1.3 setup, and on this I found that if you run it at full fan at 2 bar and at around about 2.25 to 2.5 turns out, then it puts it down really nice and smooth. This lacquer, this particular video actually is the first time that I tried it, and straight off the gun, first time I couldn't fault it. And as in all the videos, I've included a few pictures at the end so you can see just what the off the gun finish was like at the end of it. And you'll see in some of the reflection shots that this stuff, for the money, really is good. Now, since using this, I've tried some of the Max Mayo 300, I've tried some of the Kent HS lacquer, and I've also tried some of the Capsy UHS lacquer. And out of all the different HS lacquers that I've actually tried so far, I'd have to say that for gloss wise, ease of use from a painter's point of view, the look when it's polished, etc., then I have to say that out of all of those, I'd probably prefer this out of all the different brands that personally I've tried. Now, as you probably know, Spraygunsdirect sent me this little kit out to try. I'm under no obligation to try and sell this to you. They sent it out so we could do a bit of a review so you guys could see what this lacquer is actually like. And I have to say, I really, really liked it. Like I said, this footage is the first time that I actually used this. And I went with pretty much my standard settings for my Iwata with this. And since I've used it through my ProLite, I've used more of it in this and the ProLite. There's a few videos that you can see using both those guns with this lacquer on the channel if you have a quick flick through. And I really liked it. This gun with this setup, it really does go down nice. Now, it's a bit of a particularly cold day this day. We had no heat on in the booth. Not quite 100% sure what the temperature in the booth was, but it wasn't exactly a warm day, shall we say. But even so, it went on with 5% thinner. It went down really nice. It went down with a touch of orange peel, and within, I'd say, 30 seconds, it had already flowed out and left a really nice glassy finish on these panels. So I've got a wing, 2 bumpers, and that light surround there is off one job. I've got 2 bumper trims up at the top end, and I've also got that green motorbike top box just done in Kawasaki green. So it was a bit of a handy bit of time in the booth, if you like, to actually try this lacquer out for the first time. And a few bits, a few different colours, and get a good gauge for what it looks like and how it lays down when you're putting it on. And as you can see, it's going on really nice and quite effortless, even on the trickier parts where thicker lacquer, like inside the grills on this bumper, may sometimes build up and give you a bit of a run. It goes on really nice, and even if you get it on really wet, so far I haven't found any problems with it sagging unless you get it on really too heavy on an edge. And as you can see, it's not like I'm going lightly with it. It's going on really nice, really thick, really wet, and it's got a really good build. And the good thing is, because it's got such a good build, it gives you that really high gloss level. Now, whether it's black or white or grey or anything like that, it really does make your colours pop nice because you've got that really good build on there. Now, I've seen a few times before that the odd few people have had a problem with the liquid glass drying. Now, I spoke to Chris at Spraygunsdirect when the first person asked me about that, and basically, it's just down to application. You can put this on really nice and wet, but you don't want to be putting it on like 3 coats. 2 coats of this is really thick. There's more than enough build that even if you got a bit of crap in it, you can flat and polish it, a lot without any risk of going through. And also picking the right hardener and the right thinners combination for your job. If you're doing panels like this, I think we use the fast hardener in this one, which is ideal because we're only doing panel work, small jobs. If you were like one of my followers, DJH Custom Paint, he does a lot of motorbikes and stuff like that. He's just tried this, and I recommended to him that you get the fast because he's only doing, like a couple of panels at a time. Now, if you're doing the side of a car, then I'd probably say use the standard. And personally, even though we haven't got a bake in the booth, we've never had an issue that once it's had a little bit of heat through it after it's been painted and after it's flashed off, the next day it's been absolutely fine to flat and polish. And speaking to Darren at Custom Paint, he said that he gave it a bake yesterday for 45 minutes and it was absolutely fine with the fast. And now we're getting into the sort of warmer months in the summer. The standards you shouldn't have a problem with. So if you've ever sort of like been a bit worried about the drying times on this, I can honestly say that in all the jobs I've done with it, we've never had a single issue with any drying times on it. Some of the UHS and the HS lacquers that I've used, we have had problems with. But from my personal experience, this lacquer definitely isn't one of the ones that we have had a problem with. So that's the first coat all finished up. As you can see, it's now gone down really nice and wet, really good coverage on it. Just giving the panel stands now a quick bit of a tack test. What I've done is, because it's a bit of a cold day, I've given this about 10 to 15 minutes. I'm just letting that excess lacquer on your panel stand or on your paper if you like to, or if you got a little bit of tape around the window or something like that, if you're spraying the side of a car, just touch your thumb on that, and if it feels tacky and it's pulling the paper up, or you have to put that little bit of pressure to lift your finger back off because it's sticking, then for me that's the time when you want to put down your second coat. So with the Iwata, what I'm going to do is I've left the settings exactly the same. So we're still around about 2¼ to 2½ turns out on the fluid. We're still on a full fan and we're still running at 2 bar of pressure. And we're going to go exactly the same again, just putting a nice wet closed coat down. And you'll see it within, I'd say, 20 to 40 seconds after that paint hits the panel. It glasses out, flows out really nicely, but it never gets to that point where it goes too far and starts running off. At these settings anyway, that's what I've found. And as I said before, in the other videos, the settings that I'm giving you here, these are the settings that work for me. This is just a recommended setting. Every painter in the world paints slightly different, so you might find that you might want it more fluid, less fluid. You might want a bit less pressure or a bit more pressure. It's entirely up to you. I'm just giving you these settings as a bit of a guide as to what I used to get this finish for the way that I paint. Now, start of the video, I did say that since making this, obviously I've got the GTIPROLITE in a 1.3. My preferred air cap for that is the T110. So settings wise, for the Devilbiss GTIPROLITE, I would run it pretty much the same settings as I do for this Iwata, but you want to be 2 full turns out on the fluid, 2 bar of pressure, and full fan. At that, it went down absolutely perfect. As I said before, I've given down a bit of advice on this lacquer, which he just used on a motorbike this weekend, and he's used exactly those settings and has got an absolutely cracking glass finish. using this lacquer on those panels. So I know it works for me. It's also worked for Darren. So for the GTI ProLite with the T110, for me, that's what I'd recommend. I have got the T20 cap for the ProLite as well, but I haven't used that as much, so I haven't got the settings for a T20, I'm afraid. So we're coming towards the end of the video now, guys. I hope this is giving you a bit of an insight if you were looking into this lacquer as something that maybe you'd like to try or something you'd maybe like to use. Chris at Spraygunsdirect is extremely helpful with any questions or any queries you've got. So if you've seen this video and you thought, right, I fancy buying some, or you fancy trying some out, and you want to know a bit more, say, technical info on it, or you want a little bit more advice than I put in the video, or you want to speak to the guy himself, give Chris a ring. He's always really helpful. He's always on the phone, and I'm sure he'd be happy to help anyone out. And if you've ever had any giant issues with this stuff, same again, speak to Chris, and he will be more than happy to point you in the right direction of how to solve that issue. As I've said before, it's not an issue that I had, but I did see it once or twice after I started using it. I have since bought a gallon of this. I've used on quite a lot of jobs. You'll see it used on a couple of jobs through the channel, but for the sake of trying to keep the channel fresh with new content, obviously we can't keep using the same lacquer all the time because obviously it'd be a bit of a pain. I've also just managed to organise the Iwata W400 Evo in a 1.3 with the HD setup for lacquer. So that will be a review that will be coming up soon as I get the chance to use that in the booth. So as always, you know, I'm trying to work hard, get some fresh content up for you guys, keep some new stuff on, you know, a couple of new guns, and also I'll be looking into some more products and more materials soon, because I've noticed that recently there's quite a few nice new bits that have come out and some nice new bits that have caught my eye, so I'm going to try and buy some of those and get some more product reviews as well as painting videos on here for you guys. So I hope you've enjoyed watching, guys, and I'll see you again soon.
Yeah.